Rejoice, everyone. We're back with another Sekhie Reacts to Fate.
What we're actually back with is my consolation prize.
True, this was not supposed to be the original video here. We could tell them what the original video was supposed to be.
Oh yeah, it was Darius the Third.
Yeah.
Who I've actually been spoiled for the design of. He's the dude that's like completely black skin with the gold lines, like Berserker. But I've known who he is for like a long time, like what he looks like, because I think I pulled him really early on.
And then you pulled Vritra while trying to pull Ozymandias.
It's a 5-star.
So it felt a little silly because it was an easy swap. Like they still fit. Monster Month. Vritra definitely still fits.
Yeah.
But it felt a little silly to make her wait a year before she could have a 5-star out of her second archive for something we could do so easily.
And you know, I don't see Vritra in a lot of people's like friend support lists. But I'm assuming that most 5-stars aren't bad servants. Like, I'm sure with the right setup, Vritra will be great for me. If I have her skills leveled and if I have her leveled.
At bare minimum, most 5-stars are at least good one-turn beat sticks.
Exactly. So, you know, and we'd already done videos on the other things I pulled out of that. Because we already did Watanabe no Tsuna. And we already did Nitocris. And I got many Nitocris's. So very many.
Well, that said, it would have been kind of funny for her to have Vritra in her second archive. Forget about Vritra in her second archive. Us do Vritra. Oh, yeah, Vritra, you know. What?
Yeah, it's true. But...
And this was planned before she pulled Vritra, but we're also including Indra here because Vritra's stories kind of died to Indra.
Yeah, and Indra, as we discussed before we started recording this video, in technicality... I probably would have wanted to put Indra with Arjuna and Karna, but we did Arjuna and Karna as 2 separate videos back in December of 2022.
Way before he dropped.
Indra was not out at the time, so the next best place to put him would be with Vritra or Krishna, and we don't have Krishna.
I couldn't even have predicted that, or not Vritra, that Indra would be a servant, because Indra's a god.
Yeah. Yep. One of I think there's sort of a strange miscommunication here, I think, because a lot of Western sources will call Indra the king of the gods, right? Because he's reigns over, like, the weather, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of people will equate him with, like, Zeus and Jupiter, right? Like, king of the gods, like, controls the sky and the weather. But in most Hindu sources, because of the way that a lot of Hindu belief is structured, in that believing that every deity in Hinduism is actually just a aspect and part of Brahman, the kind of overarching singular entity of divinity, sort of, right? If you look at different sources, Indra, while a lot of other gods, for lack of a better term, defer to Indra in a lot of situations, they also defer to other gods at different times. It seems like the gods just tend to defer to whoever has the strongest opinions or whoever has the most weight in a certain situation in this case. So not exactly equivalent to a king of the gods. I mean, he is king of the Devas, but it's not a one-to-one comparison. But a lot of people will compare him to Jupiter and Zeus and Odin. Just kind of, powerful men, head of, like, patriarchal pantheons.
In the grand scheme of things, at least.
Exactly, yeah.
Even if the finer, like, subtleties aren't necessarily the same.
Exactly. Like, the resemblance is there in mythology and in a lot of explanations and sources. So it's absolutely not, like, necessarily wrong. It's just looking at the fact that Hinduism, because they have this sort of belief that there is an overarching divine concept that is sort of one, and then everything else exists as part of those things. There's a slightly different take on it than actual polytheistic pantheons, where every single god is a different thing from a different creation, or like we're all created separately and are not all aspects of the same person, you know?
At risk of getting things wrong in multiple religions at once. Sekhie, please cut me if I'm speaking way too out of pocket.
Okay.
Here. It kind of reminds me of the vague concept that in Christianity where there is God and there is Jesus, but also Jesus is kind of like a form of
the idea that God
Yeah.
is in everything.
yeah.
Yeah, it in a lot of ways that is what Brahman is also saying, right? It's that this divinity is in everything. Like, it's used to make up all of these other things. So everything is divine, and every one of these gods is divine. It's just in Christianity, you don't really have these clear representations of different gods with different personalities that are kind of part of this. You just have, you know, God, and then his son, and like the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost is
Yeah.
what you're kind of thinking of.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not.
Where they're separate entities, kind of, but they're considered kind of one and the same ultimately.
Yeah. In a lot of ways, that is kind of a good comparison from a dharmic religion to an Abrahamic tradition.
Yeah. Understanding that the subtleties are, again, not going to be one-to-one.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, no, you're absolutely right here about this sort of overarching concept.
Okay, good. I don't need to be censored in post.
Though there's also a lot of discussions that can be said about the presence of these beliefs in Jainism, Buddhism, Zoroastrianism, because a lot of the I hesitate to say characters, a lot of the divine beings in Hinduism kind of make their way into Buddhism, Jainism, and Zoroastrianism as under like different names, right? And we've talked about this before with other deities who also have like a separate name in, you know, this other work. For example, you remember Monkey King and Tripitaka and stuff.
Yep.
I mean, they're going to fetch Buddhist scriptures, like the Guan Yin, the Lady of Mercy, is a Buddhist figure, etc. So that there's a lot of interesting continual synchronicity, like continual syncretism across Asia in this aspect, like Hinduism to Buddhism to Jainism, and then there's the connections to Zoroastrianism as well. So that's really fun. But yeah, dharmic religions are honestly fascinating, and both incredibly complex and incredibly simplistic, because you have all these different systems and names and categorizations and stuff, but what it all comes down to is that there is one overarching Brahman, and everything is part of this one thing, you know? Like, or in the case of Hinduism, we are all part of this 4 billion year dream in the mind of one man napping on an ocean of serenity. That's it. We're just someone's dream. Very simple, it kind of at the end of all things. Lots of complex names and words to describe a very simple reality. I can kind of admire that, you know? My phone just... Let me go turn my notifications off. Because I don't know how many notifications I'll be getting.
Also, in 30 minutes, you're going to have an alarm.
Can I have my charging cord? Did you swing that?
Nope.
Oh.
You probably did to get it out of the way or something.
I might have. Yeah, let me mute that alarm. I did my login for today already.
I actually almost forgot a daily login. Not for FGO, but for something else.
Pokemon?
Nope. I don't have a Pokemon daily login right now. I
Fire
actually
Emblem?
deleted that app. Nope. I still have that app, but I haven't accessed it in a while.
Well, that was my 2 guesses. Anyways, so Indra is associated with the sky, lightning, just weather in general, rain, river, and war, often. Which I find a lot of Hindu gods have like so many different aspects that they're sort of in touch with. But then again, we see the same thing when we look at some of the you know, polytheistic Mediterranean religions, where they'll list a bunch of things and then throw in a bunch more things at the end, because different aspects of different gods worshipped in different places at different times. It's obviously not like a huge problem. The reason why I would have originally paired Indra with Arjuna, I think, is because he is Arjuna's father, and he's also the one who asks Karna to remove his gifted vestments, the earrings and the outfit, and then gives him Vasavi Shakti, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So
no, you're right. I know that one for a fact.
Yeah. So I mean.
No, there's a lot of overlap.
Yeah. It just, unfortunate timing of servants coming out to videos being filmed.
Timing. There's no timing to it at all. Like they threw a dart at a whale and were impressed that it got hit. In terms of not ending up like able to do each other.
True. So Indra's mentioned frequently in the Rig Veda, the Vedic texts, later Hindu, Buddhist, and Jainist texts, sort of throughout the history of recording these things. One of the most famous things that he's done is killing the evil Ashura Vritra.
I don't know that name.
Yeah, you might. In post-Vedic Indian literature, he's sort of the amount of times that he's mentioned and directly cited and invoked does decrease a fair bit, but he does still play a pretty important role in most mythological events going forward in this area of the world. So, according to the Vishnu Purana, right? So Indra is actually a title that's worn by the king of the gods for any given cycle of time in the cosmology of the Hindu universe. So every single Manvatara period has its own Indra, and then the Indra that we have currently is called Purandhara, right? So it's saying that Indra is like a title and a seat that one takes every time that the world is, reborn, reincarnated, which means there will always be an Indra, but it will always be a different Indra. In Buddhist and Jain mythologies, Indra rules over the rebirth within samsara of the tradition, and often mocked as like a figurehead, like a god who suffers rebirth, which is pretty interesting. So he's not necessarily the king of the gods in this context, because the gods are not as important in the context of Buddhism or Jainism, but he's part of the rebirth cosmology in both of these religions. Okay. Oh, freaking itch under my knee. So I think this is gonna be interesting, because obviously we're talking about Indra, but I think the first and most important story to cover here is Indra and Vritra, right? So really quickly, I'll shift over just briefly, but Vritra is the personification of drought, which means that he covers and keeps all the water in the world captive, right? Like that's what he is doing that makes him evil in the story that we read about him in. So he's trapped the 7 rivers, and because all of the gods are afraid of Vritra, they abandon Indra. They don't want to support him. Now, Indra is aided, right? He's given aid by other people. They feed him a ritual drink, and he takes his Vajra, or mace, and seeks to kill Vritra, right? And he does succeed in killing Vritra, strengthened by this ritualistic drink that he was given, and then he levels the mountains to release the waters, right? Like smashes them open so that the 7 rivers can run free and the world can once again have water, right? And that's sort of how he becomes revered even by the other deities at the time. There's also a couple other versions where in the process of him smashing these mountains open to release the rivers, he also releases the cattle and the sun from inside the mountain. So he what's a way to phrase this? So at this point, this is where a lot of scholars would agree that Indra kind of comes into his own as sort of king of the gods, although according to Vedic thought, no gods are consistently superior or inferior, and there's other situations where the gods might obey Vishnu or Varuna, right, in another situation. Indra also at certain times will follow the instructions of Savitar, the solar deity, right? So it's part of this henotheistic tradition in ancient India. The second important myth about Indra, right? We've already mentioned briefly, but it's the stolen cattle and the sun. So, depending on the version of the story, in some versions he releases it when he releases the rivers, but in other versions, a tribe of people have stolen, like, all of the cattle in the world and hidden them inside a cave, sometimes along with the sun. And then he utilizes the power of song chants to split the cave open, releasing both the cattle and the dawn to come again. During this time, he's sort of portrayed mostly as a priest king, also called Brahaspati, who eventually does become a separate deity from him, and then he retains sort of the deity function, and this other character becomes like a separate character altogether in the myth. Which is interesting, because you kind of see like a splitting of personalities. So Indra's got some interesting backstory in terms of some translators and scholars will call him the twin brother of Agni, right, the god of fire. And he's often associated in a trinity with Indra, Agni, and Surya, right? So it's the god of storms, the god of fire, and the god of, I think, destruction, right? But in other translations and interpretations, Surya and Agni are seen as different aspects of Indra, right? Like, oh, Agni, you who is called Indra also, right? Mm-hmm. And that kind of links back to this idea, obviously, in Hinduism that depending on your interpretation of the text, everything is just all part of Brahman, right? They might not necessarily be individual people. It might be an aspect that you're taking on, depending on the action you're doing. And him in a trio with him, Agni, and Surya creates like a creation, destruction, rebirth cycle that can be personified in myth, because trios are very important, especially when you have like creation, destruction, and, you know, something else. That's always very important. We've talked about this with other characters as well. And then Agni is also a pretty important Vedic deity. Although, you know, we don't need to cover Agni because he's not a servant yet.
No.
Although I think at some point we'll probably come back to him at this point.
He's come up once or twice before.
Yeah, well, Surya's come up too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, we're really just kind of hitting all the main points here. Let's see. Now we said that in the post-Vedic period, his importance declines. He becomes a lot more minor in comparison to the rise of like Vishnu and Shiva, and often he becomes an aspect of Shiva in later post-Vedic texts. So he ceases to be like the king of the gods that's kind of revered above all others. He is the father of Indra. Sorry. I said that wrong. He's the father of Arjuna in the Mahabharata. He's also featured in the Puranas and the Ramayana, as well as the Bhagavata. So, I mean, he's around, right? He's still present in post-Vedic texts, but he takes a much different role in them. Post-Vedic texts also give him a number of different affairs with a bunch of different women.
Wouldn't be a king of the gods otherwise.
Actually, you know the first book to mention one of his affairs in great detail? The Ramayana.
It's good to be the king.
Yeah. There's a point in the Puranas where it's described as that he just sends nuisance rain down on mankind, and Krishna, as an avatar of Vishnu, who has risen in importance at this point, has to come to the aid of the humans by literally lifting up a mountain on his fingertips so that humanity can shelter under it until Indra like stops being a pissy little bitch and agrees to stop just pelting them with rain constantly. Like I said before, Indra's also the one who asks Karna for his Kavaka and Kundala so that he does not have them, but then gifts him the Vasavi Shakti, which I think is really funny considering that he's Arjuna's father. Bit of a ironic twist there, you know? Just say it.
Whatever. We all know who won in the end.
Yes, yes we do. Yes we do. So let's circle back to Vritra, who we kind of talked about a little bit already. And let's be honest, we kind of talked about the important parts already, right?
Yeah.
In the Rig Vedas, Vritra, right, king of the devas, right? Because you get ashuras and devas. You've kind of like personifications of good and personifications of like not good. I hesitate to use good and evil as a description of them.
It's not quite the same.
No, it's more like, I think honestly a closer representation would probably be morality and immorality, because it's sort of like the idea of like all of the things that we consider to be doing good versus the idea and concept of things that we consider to be bad, right, or immoral.
Virtue and vice?
Yeah, kind of. But I mean, it's not as if, Indra was free of vice.
Yeah.
It's not perfect, but because it's a dharmic concept.
Yeah.
It's a concept where everything is placed in relation to like the universe, right? On like a universal scale of like proper and improper, sort of. And you have to have both, right? So you have the Ashuras and you have the Devas. Anyways, Vritra is king of the Ashuras, right? One of their strongest ones. He's serpent-like, which actually means that he often gets associated with Yamato no Orochi and Jormungandr, which I think is fun. Like I was looking into that and I was like, huh, that's some fun comparison making there, because I could see the connections with Indra. Obviously, I mean, you put any Sky Father character, right? Like any mythological, Perun, Odin, Zeus, Jupiter, like you could see the connections there. Vritra's a little harder to connect in some ways.
Snake figure in mythology that does bad shit.
Yeah, that is then killed by some good person.
Yeah.
Jormungandr killed by the son of Odin. Yamato no Orochi killed by what's his face?
Oh, I can't remember.
I've forgotten. It is unimportant. So, by the way, the ritual drink that Indra consumed was soma, which was provided to him at the house of T.H.E. T.H.E. was the one who made the thunderbolt for Indra, and then also made space for like some of the later battles that became parts of the legend of Vishnu and Vamana. But so Vritra was holding the world captive essentially, and supposedly he had like 99 fortresses, which are the things that Indra smashed through to release the waters. Vritra also broke Indra's jaws during the battle. So I mean, this was definitely like a knockdown, drag out. Like this was not Indra absolutely dominating Vritra. Absolutely not. In fact, according to some versions of the story, Indra needed the help of 3 different devas, Varuna, Soma, and Agni, and so on. So I mean, it's a pretty knockdown, drag out fight. Now, according to the Puranas, right, and so this is a funny, I think, thing to mention is that, so in the Mahabharata, right, King Yudhishthira gives a narration where he talks about the creation of Vritra. He says that Vritra was created by the god T.H.E. to avenge the killing of his son, right, who is known as Trisiras or Visvarupa, by Indra. But then also remember, Indra got the soma that powered him up to fight Vritra from the household of T.H.E., who had created him initially who had created Vritra to take revenge on Indra? I'm just saying.
Sounds like some mixed up plot lines there.
Well, I think the insinuation here is that while T.H.E. created Vritra to take revenge on Indra, Vritra was Vritra was doing bad to like the entire world, right? Like all of humanity by holding the rivers hostage. And so in that instance, it was more important that Vritra be defeated by Indra than it was that T.H.E got their revenge on Indra through Vritra, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So according to that, according to the story that's told in the Mahabharata, Vritra won and swallowed Indra, but the other deities forced him to throw him up, where the battle then continued, and Indra eventually was forced to flee. Then a truce was brokered, with Indra swearing that he could not attack Vritra with anything made of metal, wood, stone, anything dry, anything wet, during any time of the day or any time of the night. Which then, of course, Indra attacked him with foam from the ocean at twilight, which is neither dry nor wet, and during neither the day nor the night. Which is a pretty interesting sort of way of getting around it. I'm not exactly sure how they're defining foam as neither wet nor dry.
Yeah.
That one for me is a little funky. A little funky, but you know, it's fine. It's fine. So Vritra became the head of the Asuras, right? Like, by renouncing his duty to do good unto others and turning specifically to violence, battling against the Devas, who were all frightened of his might, which is why they called on Vishnu in the later versions to deal with him. In the Vaishnavism, he's depicted as being a devotee of Vishnu as well, which is fun. So that's some funky stuff. It seems like his place in mythology has changed depending on whether it's, you know, post-Vedic texts or Vedic texts, and a lot of that comes with the change in status between Indra and Vishnu, right? And just the evolution of how, like, sort of mythology was going and how the pantheon was turning. And then obviously we just mentioned Triceras, but also known as Vishvarupa. But if you look up Vishvarupa, you're going to get Vishvarupa, the iconographical representation of the supreme deity. So you need to look up Triceras.
And that's why when I sent you it, I sent you Triceras dash Vishnu.
Exactly.
So I did see that when I was looking into it.
Exactly. Okay. Oh my goodness, Loki.
Man, I'm not letting him on my lap while petting him.
Yeah, well, and then Triceras was the three-headed son of T.H.E, the god of craftsmen. He's also the guardian of cows, which kind of... So, remember, we talk about how one of the things that happens is Indra releases the cows from the caves, right? Mm-hmm. So Vishvarupa is pretty explicitly named as an enemy of Indra, and so at one point he stole Vishvarupa's cattle and then released them, right? So it's kind of like a different take on Indra and releasing cattle and stuff like that. And then Vritra was created to avenge his death. So it's the birth of Vritra, to avenge the death of someone caused by Indra, but then Indra eventually has to take down Vritra. Full circle, everybody, full circle. And Indra somehow comes out of it smelling like daisies. Let's be honest here.
So we're going to be starting with Vritra today.
Now,
How much do you know about Vritra?
I know Vritra is a blonde woman.
Yes. Do you remember the class?
Actually, no, I didn't pay attention. It was something that I had mats for, though, ascending. Because I ascended her once. Is she a Lancer or a Berserker?
She's a Lancer.
Okay. I said that's usually I usually have mats for Lancers and Berserkers. So I've seen just her first Ascension art. I haven't actually seen the rest of them. Because I very carefully, when I was putting up her to second Ascension, I literally did it like this. Like, I could just barely see, like, the slots here. Couldn't see her at all, and I was tapping the buttons until I could get past it. Snake tail. Yep. All right. Okay. Okay. Oh, there's a costume, too.
So I'll explain this
Oh.
one in a second. That's actually called, let's see. This is Vritra Indra.
Okay.
And we also have sprites.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I really like the color scheming here. I think it's very striking. The kind of the contrast of like this very golden blonde hair to like almost like
The
shades
blues and blacks.
Yeah, shades of blue and black from like periwinkle to like midnight blue. Because the thing is, I actually don't think she's wearing any black. I do believe that's actually just a very dark navy.
Oh.
Like almost like a midnight blue because it doesn't look black.
I think you're right.
That is definitively blue.
I see it too, and I'm colorblind, so.
Yeah.
The blues aren't that hard for me.
Yeah. And I'm kind of a fan of that. Like I'm really liking the color layouts. I do and I also think she's a very striking looking servant. Like I really like her design. I think part of that is because I can see the inspirations in her with like the snake tail and everything. So yeah, I'm interesting to hear about other stuff regarding her.
So obviously you can see that she's a gender bend. Vritra in Fate is actually normally genderless, as just naturally.
Okay.
But in terms of this incarnation, has chosen to be present as a woman, specifically going out of her way to replicate the appearance of an Asparis named Ramba.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yes.
Now, we said that we didn't predict Indra, obviously, because Indra is a god.
Yeah.
Vritra's not far off, though. Is that something that Fate's acknowledging here? Because if Indra is a Deva and Vritra is an Ashura, in theory, I would think both. I mean, not. I guess if you're defining, if you're gonna give divinity to Indra on the basis that Indra is like the king of the gods and a good character, then you might not necessarily be able to give divinity to an evil character, but or like malicious character. But like, it kind of feels like the Vanir and the Aesir. Like Freyr and Freya are Vanir, not Aesir, but we still consider them gods.
It could be a touch of how Fate tends to work with its gods. And the way it works with its gods is probably a lot more tailored to your typical polytheistic religions and even the Abrahamic ones. Where when you think of Indra, you're thinking of an object of worship, and that's what normally would power the gods in Fate.
Is Angra Mayu considered a divine servant?
Angra Mayu, no, but Angra Mayu has other weird shit going on with him.
Okay. Because
he's not supposed to be directly Angra Mayu.
Because I'm pretty sure it's either Indra or Vritra is one of them does have a syncretic person in Zoroastrianism.
Yes.
Yeah.
But you also have to remember that there can also be aspects of this character from this like specific viewpoint of them.
Okay.
So like what you're seeing with Vritra is probably the much more literal interpretation of Vritra as the monster that blocks rivers, as opposed to the greater concept of being the opposite of a god.
Okay. All right. That was my question, because I just kind of I feel like this is one of those situations where if you were to really kind of hone down in on like Hinduism, I don't actually think that you would make a distinction between calling Indra divine and then not calling Vritra divine.
Fate might also have other explanations, as we'll get into when we get to Indra for sure. But like Vritra, for example, I've already mentioned that she is taking on the appearance of an Asparis named Ramba, not Vritra as you would have seen them then and there. So there could be some degradation going on there with purposely.
All right.
And so Vritra is not an evil person per se, but is a being wholly concerned about obstructing.
Yeah. Which makes sense, right? I think we touched on it earlier, but like the idea that the Ashuras are not evil because they're evil people. It's because they've abandoned their dharmic responsibilities. They've abandoned the duties that they should be doing for the good of the cosmic one. So,
yes. I think she just takes enjoyment out of making obstacles that take great feats to overcome, and she enjoys watching it. So, like, her initial, like, event that she was in, her entire purpose there was just to make, I think it was Karna's life kind of a living hell.
Well, I mean...
And to fuck with him. But she kind of self-justifies it as, it builds character.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can understand why she's not defined as evil, given that she's not even technically portrayed as, like, outwardly malicious until post-Vedic texts, where, and if you look at post-Vedic texts, right, like, you start looking at things like the Mahabharata and stuff, where Vishnu comes to prominence and you sort of lose the Indra, Agni, Surya, creation, destruction, rebirth cycle, and you move on to a different kind of trio of important gods. And even in the Mahabharata and the Ramayana, you've got a slightly more clear-cut definition of, like, moral versus immoral, right? Like, those who are following their dharma and those who aren't following their dharma. Because I think we talked about it with, remember, when some of the, who is it? When Arjuna makes it to the kingdom of heaven, whatever you want to call it. Remember, I think he meets Duryodhana there, and like you made the joke, you were like, I don't know if he deserves to be there, and I was like, well, no, because he's fulfilled his dharma perfect. Like, he's done exactly what his dharma demands that he do, and therefore he gets an in. This is not the kingdom of heaven where you're going by good versus bad. This is obligation and adherence to your dharma, that which is determined for you by virtue of who you are.
I have fulfilled my great purpose. What was your great purpose? Getting half the people in the country killed.
He was defending his... Not getting into this again, but I understand it. All right, keep going. I keep interrupting you. Keep going. Did you lose your place?
I think I deleted my note.
Oh no!
Yeah, I deleted that. Let me fix that.
Yay me! Fucking with knick-knack.
How do I need to make sure I get that restored properly and not just permanently delete that. Hang on. There we go. I've restored it. Thank God. Okay. So yeah, I guess with Vritra, the best way of viewing like how she personally views herself is that she's her importance is in creating trials as a motivator of people actually achieving growth for the better.
Okay.
Even if her own motivation is also probably selfishly driven for a self-fulfilling purpose.
I mean, honestly, that's kind of admirable. Relationships?
Yep.
Okay. Oh my god, so much sugar. Okay. Normally I wouldn't read the non-italic bits, but I am going to read this bit about Indra out loud because I think it's funny. Her eternal rival. It's not a matter of liking or disliking, but rather she sees them as something like the most worthwhile plaything. When he shows her just how much fun they can have, she watches on with a huge grin. When he does the opposite, though, she just clicks her tongue. Oh, one whose armor was stolen by Indra, I know fully well that he's the god to use such stratagems as well. What, you don't begrudge him? My goodness. My word, so even Indra's child is here. That's how to say it. I look forward to it. Let's see. A fellow Vajra holder who was harassed. That's a mood. A Western serpent that is also a god and a demon. Huh. I feel some affinity in its own way. Well, I don't turn humans to stone or go through the trouble of melting them to eat them, though. It appears that one has some confidence in their singing. If there is a chance, by all means, I'd like to listen to them. I feel a sense of kinship with that little dragon girl. Oh, she's fond of the arts. I would really like to hear more from her, and I'm sure she would love you to hear more from her. Cue idle Ellie-chan. Those ones have a face that says, I can even ride a dragon if I feel like it. I like toying with humans, but can't stomach being toyed with. Don't let them get too close to me. Aw, actually, damn, her and Kets would have been hilarious. But she doesn't like Kets.
No.
That's unfortunate. Okay. Alright, I'm on a... wow, that was fast.
So, she actually fights using the Vritra that Indra used to kill her.
Which... this isn't... I just want to make a point here. I
have a feeling this is not the first time you've made this point, too.
It is not the first time I've made this point. I just want to make a point here. It's not a spear. It's described as a mace. The closest thing to it in Western weaponry is a mace, although technically it's just a spiky decorative scepter. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. It's not a. It's not a. Okay.
Pretty sure we were here on the comma video too.
Yep, we were. We were absolutely here in the comma video. Okay, I'm done making my points.
She also obviously used her dragon tail and her abilities to fight because Fate's gonna say that being a serpent, she's just a version of a dragon.
Yeah. I just think you should have given her a mace, you know? That would have been cool. We don't see enough characters with maces.
We've already established that in Fate the Vritra is a lance.
I know. Okay. Alright, dragonkind makes sense. Magic resistance. Fated enemy of a god, because literally created in opposition to a god. The Vritra that penetrated. Yep, slain by the weapon that she now holds. Eternal immortal demon. So she's got the Ashura Shrestha.
Vritra enters her full form as a giant serpent-like dragon. Is just the easiest way to describe that.
I'm really trying to get that SHTH at the end in my brain to work, but like that is not a normal. That is not normal in English phonetic pronunciation, and it took me a while to get Yudhishthira, which has a similar thing in it, so it's just going to take me time to get it. Oh, the wagon.
The wagon.
The wagon. I like it. I do want to see who designed. All right, well, I'm gonna read it first. As long as she doesn't open her mouth, she's so beautiful. That's actually a really funny description. Oh. Cool. This is the first thing I've seen by this author.
You've seen Ophelia before at the Sigurd video.
Oh.
She's one of the cryptors.
Oh, okay. I don't really remember her, though. I didn't realize Vishvarupa was a separate... I suppose that's something we'll get to later.
Yep.
Alright. You've got a... NP for me. I like the feathering on her collar, because to me it feels like it's alluding to the fact that Eastern dragons typically have like the mane of hair, you know? Like fur or hair around their head. Because I mean, if you've ever looked at like Eastern style dragons versus Western, I kind of like that. Man, he's really just chilling up there, isn't he?
He found his spot.
Jesus.
So we're not quite done with Vritra yet. We're not going to have any Noble Phantasms or animations for these, but there were a couple NPC-only Vritras. Hey! NPC-only Vritras that were released recently. So, at one point during an event recently, Vritra would incorporate
Vishvarupa?
Yes, Vishvarupa into her Saint Graph in order to allow them to kill Indra. This ended up being too much for the two, though, so they split their combined Saint Graph into 3 parts. By now, you saw the blue Vritra, which is Vritra Trishara. Mm-hmm. This next version you're going to see is a child version of Vritra.
Oh, it's cute. It's actually very cute. Also, I do like the scales under her eyes. Yeah, in her designs.
And then the final version, which is on the next page, this is Vishvarupa.
Vishvarupa?
Vishvarupa. I miswrote that.
Okay.
Now, I don't have crazy amounts of lore on them because I don't know how much I know there was plenty happened, but it was also a lotto event, I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't the most story dense, but the point was that they did this to kill Indra, which you can imagine failed.
Yeah. But, now I see Grand Lancer.
Yes.
So is Vritra our Grand Lancer?
No. Click into it. We're gonna watch this. We're gonna introduce you to Indra.
Oh, Indra's the Grand Lancer.
A Grand Lancer.
But one of the people that they have designated that could be Grand Lancer.
Indra is part of a thing called the Grand Duels, in which they release like one fight against a servant that's supposed to be your challenge to unlock the ability to use the Grand class of that class.
Okay.
Indra is the challenge for that, but for all of them, they have these nice little servant introductions.
Okay.
That we can use really nicely here to show, to reveal the design.
This is obviously the first grand introduction video we've seen.
Yes.
Have we covered any servants that have been?
Yes,
none
of them
grand?
we knew as grands at the time, though.
Okay, but who have we? Because I thought, isn't King Hassan count as Grand Assassin?
So we haven't done the Grand Assassin duel, so it very well could still be that King Hassan has an intro that hasn't been released yet. But like the grands we have done, like Merlin,
Grandcaster, okay.
Romulus Quirinius, who was also Grand Lancer.
Yeah, okay.
And Super Orion. They
Grand
did
Archer?
not have... Yeah, Super Orion, Grand Archer. Did not have videos like this because they were not for the Grand Duel. They were summoned as grands in the story. This is specifically for the trial against this.
Okay.
And this is just the Grand Servant that's giving us the challenge.
Okay.
Because grands can be multiple different people. You just qualify for it.
Yeah. I just couldn't remember if we'd done any official grand stuff yet. Indra Magama. Oh. There's a level of continuity I appreciate here with the fact that Arjuna also has dark skin.
Well, why don't we get a good look at the design in more detail?
Yeah,
I just thought you'd
say.
Appreciate that build up.
Okay. Oh, he has a... Oh, I'm gonna hate that thing. Hate that thing! Oh. Knick-knack, close your eyes. Close your ears for a second.
What'd that tongue do?
Okay, we're good.
What did you say?
You don't need to know. You really don't need to know. I recognize the design of this. It's familiar.
So I want to ask you a question. What is that behind Indra and that third ascension there?
The third ascension? Hold on. It's Karna's divine vestments, the earrings and suit that he took off and gave to Indra. in return for Vasavi Shakti?
No, that is Vasavi Shakti.
Oh, because Karna uses Vasavi
Yep.
Shakti. Okay.
Because he got it from Indra.
Yeah. That's why I was like. That's why I was like the design of the design of this is familiar because it's got a similar shape to his spear. Yeah. Okay.
So,
I like it. Picasso.
Indra,
Smash.
a god.
Mhm.
Normally, gods are way too powerful to be summoned as servants. And
Yeah.
for Indra, this should have 100% been true.
Mm-hmm.
He's not some weak god, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So, get around that. What does this asshole do?
Well, at least until you move into the post-Vedic texts.
He puts some of his divinity and spirit origin into his two Varja, giving them personalities as well. Those are the two children you saw in
Vajra.
those one art.
Yeah.
As well as allowing himself to be summoned in a Lancer class, powerful enough to be qualified to be a Grand Lancer. And yes, as I mentioned before, he's the one who gets to test Chaldea's readiness to use the Grand Lancer class in their mission.
Okay.
Indra is himself another one for the Pompous Asshole Club. He's somewhat of a womanizer and holds himself up as a king who should command respect and views his children like Arjuna as princes that should command that same respect.
Well, I mean, to a certain extent, that's understandable. I mean,
Yeah.
look, here's the thing. Just because like some in Hinduism, certain deities are determined to be dharmically good does not mean that they are necessarily good people. I mean, but you can say that about the Greek gods too. Just because the Greek gods are considered like on the good side of the fights that they're in does not mean that they are good people. Look at Zeus.
Zeus, you're a rapist. You can cut that.
You know, I would have started with Poseidon with that sentence, but that's fine.
A lot of them are that way.
It's just Zeus hits close to home because it's been so many recent videos.
Yes. Indra, however, is very honorable at the end of the day and is actually far more amiable than, say, our resident king of heroes.
Well, I mean, let's look at the story about Indra with Karna, right? Like, his son is Arjuna.
Yeah.
Arjuna and Karna were at odds, like, actively. And then he came, like, disguised, obviously as a peasant, asked Karna for literally the divine gifts, like his earrings and his suit. And Karna knew who he was and still gave them up. And that's why he gave him the Vasavi Shakti. It was a reward for him being so dharmically good, you know?
Mm-hmm. I think with Indra, there's just a lot less misplaced pride.
Yeah, that's fair.
At one point in one of the events, or in the event that he was introduced in, one of the more childlike servants climbed onto that throne thing you saw, and everybody, including Arjuna and Karna in the room, thought Indra was going to kill them for that. Indra was perfectly fine with it.
Yeah.
As one last note that pissed me off in particular, he is by all presentation a male. He acts like a man, uses male pronouns, fulfills the biological purpose of men. He's a man, right? Well, this fucking asshole is strong enough to have a nature that rises above any gender classification. Therefore, when my Grand Lancer candidate Consort U has an anti-male damage modifier, I don't get it, and he fucks me over. Also, being the first AoE Grand Duel, it's not a duel anymore. There's more than one of you. Fuck you and your fake gender nonconformity, Indra.
So when do I get to summon him? Genuine question here. When do I get to summon him?
Not next year, and I want to say it's... I can easily guess this, because I went to Hawaii while Indra's duel was going on, and that was in July. So you're going to get, like, around June-ish, maybe even May-ish, depending on how fast they accelerate our schedule.
2026?
Yes. No, 2027.
That's okay. I can wait. I am patient. I can wait. Because your girl needs herself an Indra. Alright. The relationships?
Yep.
Shiva isn't here, so you're here instead, Parvati? Of course. I won't put a hand on you. Let's do this. I promise not to touch you, so you promise not to interfere no matter what woman I lay my hands on. You won't? Durga, you may be something like the daughter of all of us, but what has been defined as your current priority order? Obeying the transmitter that is the master? Well, it doesn't make a difference. Since we're associated with the same faction, I can delegate my work on you as the goddess of annihilation. Work hard. Hey you, what the hell is this? Your vessel is the same as Parvati's, and it seems you've strengthened yourself with demon attributes. And is that Vajra meant to mock me? Don't look at me like that. It's true I was the one to send you with Shiva, but even I didn't think Shiva would just burn you so easily, so it's not my fault. If you're going to bear a grudge, bear it against Shiva and Parvati. Oh, what, that one? Isn't she a really nice woman, like the goddess Shri, Tilotama and Ramba? No, isn't that Vritra? Oh, the son of Surya, Vaikartana. To think that you'd be here. In the end, did you use that spear I gave you? You didn't use it. Whatever. The fact that you used it might have been erased. Anyway, I heard the story. Looks like you got beaten by my son. That's only natural. It's obvious that a thunderstorm will cover the sun. Indra, my son, are you doing well? Should I give you a lesson like the old times? They say it was Shiva who mainly gave him a lesson that time. No, well, that's, you hadn't reached that level. You're just embarrassed. You've just embarrassed yourself, Lord Indra. Shut up. I like that his Vajra talk back to him. I'm a big fan of this. Hey you, the avatar of Kali, that armor of yours, isn't that the one I used to have? I got it from Drona? I have a feeling that it's been going from one hand to another like crazy. Well, if it's from Shiva in the first place. Not that I'm in any position to say anything. That's Ganesha, or not, I'm not sure, but I agree that a god shouldn't be working laboriously. However, since I, the king of gods, am here, shouldn't she be working more than me? So that Kotatsu over there will be mine. Move!
For Junako.
Once there was this Rishi. I couldn't bear the deplorable penance he was going through, so I sent him an Apsara. Then this and that happened, and the kids they had were Kripa and Kripi. Yes, Ashvathaman, your mother. So if it wasn't for me, you wouldn't even have been born. You may thank me. How very magnanimous of him. Look, I can't, I'm not upset that he's like, I feel like this is a case of him being rightfully a little bit self-centered. You know what I mean? Like, this is the king of the gods, and he's not necessarily being a dick. You know? I like it. Picasso. Abilities.
So Indra uses both his Vajra as attendants and as weapons.
Vajra.
Vajra.
The J comes first.
They move autonomously, acting on Indra's will by effectively being part of Indra. Indra himself rarely pushes into the fight himself. He often just rides in a throne called an Airavata.
Yep.
A mythical mount.
I was going to say that's the name of his mythical steed.
Just normally a white elephant.
Yep.
But here is basically a mechanical throne.
Yeah. Which is unfortunate. I would have liked to see him on a mechanical elephant.
It is this way because the elephant itself would also be too divine to be summoned as a servant. So it becomes this throne that actually has free will.
Oh, okay. That's fair. Yeah. All right. 1,000 eyes. Oh, yeah. Lovely. Heavy drinker. Yeah. Yeah. The Soma. Personal skills. King of the gods. Manaverse. Vertrahan, the one who slayed Vritra. That was literally the title that was given to him. And then Noble Phantasm is Chakra Vajra.
And it makes note that he also has Vasavi Shakti, but isn't necessarily good at using it.
Yeah.
So, I'm just going to say, you pronounced it just now. I will quickly note that Indra is not the only one to use this Noble Phantasm. Raiko also makes use of it in her summer form, but she's nowhere near as proficient. Mm-hmm. Indra normally just lets the Vajra fight autonomously, but this NP is him getting serious and taking direct control of them. Mm-hmm. The attack that he's able to do here is capable of incinerating enemies whole.
Okay. There's a design sheet I was curious about looking at. Designed by Paco! Paco also did Arjuna and Arjuna Altar, and Karna, and Ashvathama. And Bhima and Duryodhana.
That was a bunch of Gura Gura servants.
Yeah. Basically everyone except for what? Durga, Kali Durga and Parvati.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Vritra. Yeah. Did basically every single other one of the...
He also did... Oh, okay, he did that character in time. Right. I think we've covered them, but we don't need to go into it.
Okay. So we've got a... I mean, look, Knick-Knack, if I too could just lay back in a throne and let someone else do the work for me, I'm not saying I wouldn't. You know?
No, you would.
I would. I'm very good at delegating.
He's literally drinking.
Yeah. I too would be doing the same thing, Knick-Knack. I'm here for it.
Big sprite too, by the way.
Yeah. I wonder how he looks when you have two other sprites on your team.
Big. Wide.
Yeah. Does he cover them?
Depending on the layer he's on, I think.
Fair. Yeah, I suppose it would depend if he's... which side of you he is.
Yeah.
From your perspective. Can you change that?
Just put him in like a second or third slot, or first slot, whichever.
Oh, okay. I was thinking if he was in like the third slot in the back, would he cover the two in front of him?
I don't remember the exact way it works, but I do believe there is an actual priority order on that.
Okay. Okay. I don't have any servants big enough to worry about that, so...
Yeah. Neither do I, actually.
Yeah. Well, I know who I'll be rolling for in 2027.
You actually have a pretty good amount of chances to get him.
Good.
Because you'll have his initial banner, and then they've shown that they're... That year, they rerun everything a lot. So there will be his initial banner, and then there'll probably be a rerun banner when they rerun the Grand Duel for Lancer again.
Because I'm definitely not going to be at the point of doing grand duels.
You might. You only have to be to the Ordeal calls.
I don't know if I'll... Yeah, that is 2 years from now.
Like, you don't... Like, fun fact, you don't have to be done with Ordeal Call to do Grand Duels, guys, if you didn't know that. Now you'll want to get done with them as quickly as possible because of that 1,000 quartz at the end of the year, by the end of the year. But let me get 1,000 quartz for being caught up with finishing the final Ordeal Call before that December.
Is that 2027 December?
Yes.
Well, hopefully I'll be in part 2 in 2026.
Hopefully.
Part 2 is the Lost Belts, right?
Yes, yeah.
And
You
then
should be done with Remnant by the end of this year, I would think.
Oh, I will be, and then after the Lost Belts, it's
There's
then
the
Ordeal
Vajra
Call?
attacking.
Yeah. Oh, they're so cute. But after the Lost Belts, it's Ordeal Call?
It's it's Ordeal Call.
Yeah. So I just have to make it through all the Lost Belts. Which might require a little bit more dedication, some longer streams.
Yeah.
You know?
Or an extra stream or two.
Yeah. Because there's, 7 Lost Belts?
7 Lost Belts and a number of middle chapters that are shorter but still chapters.
Yeah. Do the chapters have to be done to be considered done with part 2?
Which one? The middle chapters?
Yeah. Sorry, let me rephrase this. Once I make it out of Epic of Remnant, right? Because, for example, in Epic of Remnant, it's not required that I do Seraph.
It is not. There are chapters like that, but there are chapters where it's kind of like that, but in one of these middle chapters, a major character dies in the end of that middle chapter.
Yeah.
So you don't want to skip it and go straight to the chapter after that kind of deal.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, I'm sure some of these extra chapters could be done,
oh yes,
on their own time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a few, especially the earlier ones.
Okay. You got a nice ass. They've done a very good job shading and highlighting it. Very pert. See what I mean? Well shaded. Some nice detail to the lines of his suit, too. For those who know, him and his Varja remind me a little bit of Kenpachi and his lieutenant.
I do love that this man has done little to no actual fighting himself.
Oh, yeah, no. I appreciate that greatly. He knows what's up, Knick-Knack. He knows what's up. This is what Junaka wishes she could be.
これぞ戯れの極致だ。
Oh, this
聖
is...
戦の骨たる我が今後を見せてやろう。
Oh,
来たれ信頼。
oh yes. Whoa. That little... At the end. Oof!
出番をやろう。
I like this design just as much, honestly. Like, it's a very different look in terms of, like, the styling of it, but I'm a big fan. You know? We have arms now. Ow.
Look, he actually did something.
Yeah.
That might be his one attack animation where he actually goes up and hits them. He's got some of the same attack animations as Ozymandias, where he's just like... Ozymandias needs an animation update pretty badly. He really does. He looks so out of place next to the other servants. I know. Oh. Oh, the snapping. It's so sassy. Oh! Look, he has 2 attacks where he physically moves. There's the first one. Yeah, there's the first one again. Just the axe kick from hell. I can tell you appreciate the sass. I do. To be fair, I appreciate Indra. I knew you would. How could you ever know this? How could you know, Knick-Knack? Is it perhaps because there's some sort of part of the way that he looks that's in Sekhie's wheelhouse of, like, distinctly something she's into? Yes. Perhaps a color? Perhaps of hair? It's the white hair, isn't it? Oh, we love that. Just sit back. Sassy. And it changes his outfit. Oh, they're so cute. Yes! Yes! I knew we were going to get the little eye snap at the end. Okay. I'm just going to move these over here so I have them right next to one another. Oh, yeah. Oh. Oh, wait. Oh, hang on. I need to check something now. Oh, no. Okay. It's just on her April Fool's. Look at that little spiky tooth smile. I love it. Oh my god. She's actually the cutest cheerleader. This might be one of my favorite sprites that I've seen. Like, not sprites, but you know the... Like the chibis, yeah. Okay. Got a little bit of extra. Okay. And then looks like she's... Oh, that's her. Okay. So we'll come back to this because this is one of the, like, on location. But that's Himiko, isn't it? Yep. Yeah. I bet I know that person, too. I think it's one of the... I want to say it's Roberts at this angle. Oh, you know what? It might be. It might be. We'll see it. We'll come back to it. Feet. Because it'll be right there. Yay. All right. Oh. Even now it continues to rise. What's there is snow and ice, seized and obstructed water that's taken shape. There is gloom, shadow that veils the heavens and the earth. There is silence, proof that humans who are neither good nor evil do not exist here. And yet it will get shattered by the hands of God, eventually. Or at least the way had been in the past. In other words, it's the law and principle that has repeated itself over and over again, and will continue on for eternity. Whether the age of gods end and the world of humans begin, the law of obstruction shall manifest in some shape or form that is equivalent to gods and evil. Water shall be obstructed, released, and then the world shall change once again.
Yeah, because I think there was one thing I was reading, and it was that some scholars associate Vritra, right, like as a sort of like ice giant that's sometimes equivalencyed with like the end of the last major ice period on Earth, and Vritra with like the warm spell that comes after that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like there are some people who take that interpretation because the Earth is constantly moving in and out of glacial periods into warm periods. So like we are kind of moving on this general scale of like intense ice periods to heat periods to ice periods. And it's one of the ways that like a lot of people who say that climate change isn't a thing will be like, no, the Earth always changes from cold to hot, because they're refusing to acknowledge the fact that the reason why we're concerned about climate change is the speed at which it is happening, which is, according to what we know scientifically, unprecedented and not fully natural.
Mm-hmm.
But the Earth does always vacillate between periods of ice and heat. The sealed best delicacy. Take a bite of it, and its sweetness will numb you to the very core. A feeling of euphoria will sweep through your entire body. You won't be able to help but drool in hope of more. It's an absolutely demonically delicious chocolate, but it's sealed inside of a mechanical craft box that she made herself. This diabolical box absolutely cannot be opened without humans putting all their knowledge and strength into the task. But if they devote all they have to opening it, it should yield to their efforts. Maybe. This seemingly impossible yet attainable difficulty was achieved through her ability as a dragon who creates obstructions for humanity. Any attempts to simply break the box open will fail. Ah, so this is who the dude from Glass Onion should have talked to. Magecraft and science prove useful for opening or examining it. Attempting to use a noble phantasm to analyze it and brute force the solution to opening it will cause the chocolate inside to melt. No shortcuts. Come on, let me watch your pathetic struggling as you try to overcome my trials. If I give you chocolates, I'm owed a return gift from you, right? Well, the sweet sight of you suffering is a perfect gift from you to me. Come on now, think. Go for it. Those delicious chocolates are just inside.
I love that part of Glass Onion, like the trial box, and someone just literally takes a hammer to it.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if I'd be willing to. I feel like by the time I like got through the puzzles and shit, I wouldn't really want the chocolate anymore.
I could have made better chocolate in this time.
Yeah. Okay, so this is the one. Oh, I do like her outfit. It's very cute. Let's see. Bartholomew Roberts. Yep, and Himiko. Somerset Hospital, Cape Town, South Africa. Interesting. Ocean Flyer. There's nothing a dragon fears. No matter where they go, all they need to do is smile an elegant, indomitable smile. She takes my hand and invites me up to even greater heights, urging me to enjoy myself. What could lie beyond this summer hardship?
This CE was introduced in an event where Vritra actually had a very minor role. She turned a mountain into Mario Brothers.
It's a little funny. I don't think I know that other character.
Scroll down, I'll tell you.
I think it's Daikokuten.
No, it's not Daikokuten.
No? Oh, it's Ushiwakamaru.
Yeah. Very different look for her.
You know what? I think it looks like a Daikokuten from an anime I've seen Daikokuten as a character in.
I was like, I know what Daikokuten looks like. That does not look like Daikokuten.
I've never seen Daikokuten in Fate, and that is not how I picture Ushiwakamaru.
I don't hate it.
No, it's great. 8 stone leap. 1, they exercise calamities. 2, their blades are sharp enough to cut through mist. 3 and 4, they jump and dodge the snapping jaws. 5 and 6, they dance and sing as they move. 7, their courage is savage and furious. Who will be shredded to 8s? Nice. Towards the Pacific Belt! Ellie-chan and Mecha Ellie-chan Mark II. I think that's Summer Carmilla. Or something.
Kiyohime?
Oh, it might be, yeah, because we've seen this before.
Yeah.
Yeah. But there she is. In the little octopus costume fighting against Artoria.
In a T-Rex sauce
Yeah.
costume.
Kiyohime. Yeah. It's a reference to Pacific Rim. I'm not gonna...
I see it.
It's a New Year's. Okay, I'll translate it and we'll see. I can't believe that Eliza is the last one. If Halloween continues to be held every year, that kind of Eliza might appear somewhere in the world again. It might even appear not just on Halloween. Okay. Among the Nymphea. Ooh. Cute outfit, isn't it? There's a Ganesha statue. Yeah, Chinako, I was right. It's Ganesha. The dragon of the dam gazed at the flowers floating on the water's surface with an expression of ecstasy. Their beautiful blooming amidst the sludge resembled that of a person overcoming hardships. She simply indulged in the sight, selfishly enjoying it. Nice. Okay, so we have a celebratory attire. Very cute. Shiren? Shiren? Pretty sure those are that's... I think that's Ellie. Yeah, that's definitely Ellie-chan. I'm assuming every single one of these pins is a character, and I just can't identify some of them right now. Oh! Wait. Red coating with green hair. Is that Canis? Green hair, red outfit. Is it Europa or Canis that has that distinct coloring?
I don't know. It'll probably tell you at the bottom.
I know, but I like trying to figure it out on my own, you know?
Look, I can't help you. Those are small. I'm colorblind, and I'm not necessarily right up in front of the screen.
That might be Martha? I don't know. Okay. All right. It doesn't say. Hold on. The fucking... I think that might be female master. This is definitely a saber face here. That's either Yume Ren or Rin, I think, or some variation of Yume Ren or Rin. Purple hair. It could be light purple hair.
Martha, any of the Sakura 5.
Oh, it could be one of the Sakura 5, but I'm thinking
or just
it might
Parvati.
be... It could be Parvati. That's got to be either... Okay, hold on. Nope, it's Europa. Pretty sure. No, who am I thinking of? That we've done recently. Green hair. Red out. Salome! It's Salome!
There you go.
That's the problem with doing like multiple female servants. Okay, yeah, it's Salome, I think. I'm positive that the pin in the top of the middle is Salome. I wish there was more information. Somebody needs to go in and double check what all of those Come on. Ah, 10th Annie. That's probably why there's not a ton of information on it, because wasn't the 10th Annie just...
Like, that was not that long ago.
Yeah, okay.
About a month ago.
Yeah, if someone feels like maybe double checking me on my answers here, because I've said what I think all of them are, but I would be interested in seeing if someone else thinks differently. Okay, so this is festival wear. This is the festival wear CE, and she's obviously at some sort of Japanese festival. Knick-knack. Do you see that?
Wikipedia. Click into it. It'll probably tell you on that.
Nope! Nope, it's broken. If it was ever there to begin with.
Can I take a look again?
It's a Japanese festival. I just can't tell which.
Hang on. I think...
Eggs? Is that the signifier? It's 10th Annie, that's why it's... Yeah.
Those might be...
I mean, they're eggs. It's a reference to the fact that snakes eat eggs. I'm pretty sure. I think they're boiled eggs, too, if that helps. I don't know if that's specific to any festival. But that's definitely the reference. And I'm sure that this is probably based on one specific setting. One specific festival. I just don't know which.
I have to wonder if it's Setsubo.
It might be. I just don't know. All right, on to Indra.
Probably won't be too much. He's pretty.
No, but I can hope. I can hope. Okay. Oh wait. Oh, they're so cute. They're actually so cute. Oh, thank God. Paco likes them, so there's at least 2 illustrations already. Ooh, love that.
I think he made it in just before anniversary, so.
Yeah.
Got a little extra.
Yeah. There's the Magawan portrait.
Yeah.
We do have 2 craft essences. I'm just gonna... Yeah, very cute. The elephant ridden by the god, which is his chariot. A being born from the ocean, a being called Elephant of Clouds. In other words, a different form of the mount of the king of gods, Indra, the divine elephant Airavata. The servant Indra has altered and preserved the concept of that mount, Vahana, into a white vehicle with nuances of a self-propelled throne. Along with the Vajra in which he made his divinity dwell, the servant Indra created it in order to display his greatness as a god, and his son, the endowed hero, tilts his head, wondering, wouldn't he have appeared with a more direct power if he hadn't done that? However, Indra says, I'm overwhelming to begin with, therefore this is nothing but a miscalculation, and doesn't seem to care. Actually, as one of the reasons why a divine spirit at such a level that he can't originally be summoned as a servant, even using a vessel, has manifested, him splitting his spirit origin could work. This white giant elephant made inorganic, unlike Vajra, can't take human form, and basically obeys Indra's will, but it's not as if it doesn't have a free will. If the situation is extreme enough to require so, it can decide and act independently. What?
Nothing.
Oh, okay, so it's the outfit from this CE specific. Oh my god, look, they've got little okay, this very much feels like a dad and his 2 kids. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where he's just like, go play over there. I'll watch. Good luck. You know what I mean? While like drinking on the park bench. That's what this feels like. Celebratory attire. Okay. They're not giving a location for where it is, although there's a specific statue here, and the background looks perhaps distinctive enough that maybe this is intended to be a specific location, and it's just so new that somebody hasn't updated the...
No, definitely.
Yeah, because this looks like a specific... In fact, this actually looks familiar, which is why I'm mentioning it. Like, the statue itself looks like something I might have seen before in like a class. I could be wrong though. It might just
Can you tell by the street lamp design?
Honestly, anywhere in Europe.
We've narrowed it down to one continent.
No, not necessarily, because I'm looking a little bit further back. No, because I say not necessarily because colonialism.
Yeah.
White European style buildings could just be, you know, an area of somewhere in India or something that was heavily colonized and still has those remnants, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't, which sucks, but it feels familiar. Actually, I'll just leave that open since we're done.
So what do you think of Vritra and Indra?
I liked them a lot.
Are you mad at your consolation prize?
No, I'm not.
Because you don't have to roll for her.
That is true. I don't have to roll for her at all now. I don't know if I would necessarily insist on rolling for her over someone else, per se. Because I think, like, honestly, if I wanted, like, an Indian Lancer, I might go for Karna if I were to roll. Do you know what I mean?
Or Indra.
Yeah, well, I will be rolling for Indra. It's just 2 years out. But it is always nice when a servant I like ends up in my inventory somehow, unintentionally.
And that doesn't happen that often with 5 stars.
No, it doesn't. So, yeah. It's very fortunate. It's kind of like, almost like Odysseus in reverse.
Yeah.
Where, Odysseus just happened to be on Raid Up a couple of weeks after we filmed that video, and so I dropped a roll on him on stream, and then got him. Unintentionally. In this case, rolled for someone else, got Vritra, and then I was like, well, I don't want to have to wait a year to be able to use a 5-star. Because it's very rare that I get a 5-star that I don't know, because I usually roll 4 servants I do know. And I've been pretty lucky in getting servants that I do know.
We've covered a lot of the early 5 stars, so
exactly,
a lot of the unlimited ones.
Exactly.
Well,
so
this is gonna.
I'm gonna be honest. Oh, okay.
So earlier you asked about servants we've done that have had grand videos like the one I showed you before, and just gonna go through them just so you know like what to expect. We'll watch the ones that we missed in updates. So at this point we've had Saber with Musashi.
Okay, so Miyamoto Musashi is the Grand Saber. Okay.
We've had for Berserker we have Heracles.
Yes, I remember that.
Obviously Lancer with Indra. We have an extra class servant, but that one I don't even know how we're gonna cover that one. And then we have a rider one that's ongoing now. That's also something we'll cover in the far-flung future, I'm sure.
Okay.
But I hinted in the Discord that the same way I put like that little intro video for Indra, there's going to be an intro video before the servant next time too. That servant is none of those, as this intro video is not connected to the Grand Duels, but it is an intro video we can do, and it's going to be about to the same effect. There you go. There's your really roundabout hint.
Yeah, that is in fact an FGO hint. Yeah, I was gonna say something about the area of the world or like the collection of servants, but
you can give them another hint. You can spoil them.
Yeah,
spoil them.
I mean, we're look. All I'm gonna say is we're staying in the same general region and time period. We're not moving. We're planted here for a little bit. But on that note, we will see you next time. If I can find the thing that I'm going to stop.